As one of Konoha's two 8th Hokage candidates, Shikamaru Nara has quite a bit of freedom in how he operates inside of Konoha. If a situation arises to where Naruto's unable to carry out his duties as Hokage, the next person in charge is Shikamaru, and if anything happens to him, then the other 8th Hokage candidate, Sakura Uchiha, will be the next one calling the shots. It's for that reason that Shikamaru walks a very fine line, operating in broad daylight as Naruto's advisor and working behind the scenes, handling some of the political issues before they get to Naruto's desk. It's because of these issues that Shikamaru has assembled his own team of highly skilled ninja behind Naruto's back for a mission that teeters into the territory of an S-rank mission, because if his team fails, then this very well could lead to Konoha destroying the treaty agreed upon by the 5 great nations, and it could be seen as an act of war. In today's edition of Shikamaru Shinen, Mourning Clouds, which I'll leave a link to down in the description box for anyone who wants to read the novel and help support the channel, we're going to take a look at why Shikamaru assembled this new team behind Naruto's back, who these ninja were, what their mission was, and why Shikamaru chose them. Like stated before, the information comes to us from the Naruto light novel set in the Boruto era, Shikamaru Shinen, Mourning Clouds. This novel is set in the direct aftermath of the Versus Momoshiki arc, and it extends well into the Mujina Bandits arc of the Boruto manga. In the scene I'm going to share with you guys, Shikamaru sits inside of his office, deep in thought as he goes over the events of the 5 Kage summit. More importantly, he keeps replaying the outbursts by Kurosuke and her demands for all intel that Konoha has. Handing over all of Konoha's intel, according to Shikamaru, is pretty much the same thing as offering the village up for full surrender. Sure, they were all in a treaty together, but the hidden villages still maintained some of their secrets. For instance, the jutsu code that was needed to pass through the barrier that Ino's team developed wouldn't be told to anyone from outside the villages. If they wanted to visit Konoha, they would need to pass through the front gates and have their chakra registered just like everyone else. The same thing with stuff like Konoha having underground bunkers that can act as a shield from dojutsu, being able to find someone, as shown in the Boruto manga when Shikamaru was hiding Amado. Each village, they share intel, but intel vital to keeping their village safe is never disclosed. While the ninja villages are at peace now, as we saw in the Hidden Mist field trip arc, all it takes is one feudal lord ordering the other Kage to pull out of the treaty, and then the alliance will be broken and war will start. If that were to happen with the Stone or the Cloud village, or the Mist village or the Sand village, after Konoha handed over this intel, Konoha will be vulnerable for an attack that could target their infrastructure. Bombs can be placed on the rail cars to destroy everything that the Thunder Train has. The sensory division could be taken out. The police presence on the borders could be taken out as well. Places where the villages would be evacuated in the case of an attack, like we saw when Orochimaru attacked the village, all of that would be disclosed to the enemy. It pretty much would be a full-on surrender like Shikamaru stated. It's for that reason that Shikamaru deduces that there was more to the outburst and the need for the Stone Village and the Mist Village to operate in unison. Shikamaru suspects that there could be something going on inside the village or inside the country itself that is pushing this potential break in the treaty. It could also run as high up as the feudal lord of the land of Earth, pulling the strings, which is why Shikamaru is willing to nip the problem at the root before it can grow any further. Shikamaru does not wait to go to Naruto with this intel, thinking that Naruto's too blinded by his need to see the best in people, which even in the Kawaki arc we see how both of these characters are a bit at odds with each other when it comes to certain things, with Shikamaru wanting Kawaki on the lock and key and Naruto projecting his passage in Jinchuriki into his decision to keep Kawaki safe. And once Naruto gets sealed away by Jigen, we see how when Shikamaru takes over the village, how Shikamaru immediately treats Kawaki like a hostile. There's a clear difference between the two men. Shikamaru calls for 2 highly skilled ninja to come into his village. Elite Jonin, who were assembled strictly for this reason, are going directly into the land of Earth. With the scene and the context finally being added, it's here I'm going to begin quoting. Kurosuke was Shikamaru's comrade, someone he spent a lot of time in discussion with when he was younger. She was not a woman like that, intractable and fractious. He wanted to defend her on that point, but it seemed inappropriate when he was about to send these 2 Anbu into the Stone Village because of her. It makes no sense. the Stone Village saying all that. So I want you to look into it, Shikamaru said. Which is to say, you wish us to investigate the internal situation of the Stone Village. Hanoka said. Exactly. There has to be something, Shikamaru replied. He was very nearly convinced of this. But, Hinoko said in a clear voice and crossed her arms as she stared into space. Shikamaru turned his gaze on the talented ninja and waited for her to continue. If it's like you say and something fishy's going on in the Stone Village, like, it might be more difficult to get in. If the enemy's already alert, security inside the village would be tight, Hinoko said. Which is exactly why I chose you to, Shikamaru replied. Hinoko looked at Shikamaru, her face red. Who was it who snuck into the land of silence with you? I know better than anyone what kind of power you have, Shikamaru said. With such praise heaped upon us, you do make it very impossible for us to refuse, Ro replied. Ro could freely manipulate chakra. He could make his own chakra look like someone else's and even cloak the chakra in nearby comrades, an ability that had a wide range of applications. Using this jutsu, he could easily slip past even the most vigilant of guards. Hinoko, meanwhile, was able to sever her target's chakra with fine chakra needles that she released from her fingertips. In other words, she was a brilliant assassin. If she temporarily cut off the chakra of any watchful eyes, she would make a target feel that they were carrying out their duties perfectly while she waltzed right in front of them. Additionally, I'll enact one more plan, Shikamaru said. Any more reinforcement and, they'll just be in the way, Hanoko said. I'll leave the actual work to you two, Shikamaru said. I'll be moving on my own. End quote. So what I like here is that Shikamaru called up the two Anbu members who Kakashi assigned to him after the 4th Great Ninja War to deal with the issues in the Land of Silence with Gingo, the young girl Hinoko, who was now a fully grown woman, and the elder Anbu Ro, someone who Shikamaru says is 12 years older than him. The reason why I enjoy this is that this is another small moment of connective tissue that the light novels have when you read them very closely, and they pay off very small references to the other novels. Some are in your face like this, and others are small passing lines that reward those of us who read these novels closely. For this one right here, we see a nod to the Shikamaru Shinen novel, A Cloud Drifting in Silence, but we also see a small nod to the Sakura Shiden novel, Love Riding the Spring Breeze, when Shikamaru refers to the Anbu budget being cut. One of the core conflicts in the Sakura Shiden novel was that Sasuke is being framed by Anbu who were loyal to Danzo in an attempt to stir up conflict in the ninja world so as to force the feudal lord to increase Konoha's budget for the Anbu. Under Kakashi as Hokage and presently under Naruto as Hokage, the Anbu Black Ops, they still exist, but their budget has been greatly reduced. No longer do you have Anbu who exists solely in the darkness, like Kakashi did for a while, and like Sai and Yamato did for most of their time in the unit. Now, ninja like Hinoko and Ro, two Anbu who Kakashi praised when he was a Hokage, Naruto now has them working as jonin in the village, leading their own teams on mission. The other reason why I love this scene is that we see that Shikamaru knows that he's crossed a line that he can't come back from. When he's asked directly if Naruto knows about this, he pretty much says no and implies that Naruto won't need to know if they don't get caught. Which is why he grabbed two ninja who would be perfect for this mission, while Shikamaru goes to the Stone Village on the appearances of a diplomatic mission, meeting with the Noiki. The other two will be going to the Stone Village and throughout the land of Earth looking for intel, which is a reminder, this scene takes place before the Mujina Bandits arc and directly after the versus Momoshiki arc. So this scene takes place before the Mitsuki disappearance arc where Anoiki inevitably dies. Shikamaru ultimately wants to stop any problems with the Stone Village before they cross the point of no return, and it's to prevent Naruto from being forced to make a decision that could upset the balance in power. If he could find the root of the problem, in theory, he would be able to offer Naruto a non-combative way to actually address the problem. However, I want to know from you guys, do you think that Shikamaru crossed a bit of a line here, assembling a team like this for this mission behind Naruto's back? or was Shikamaru fully in line here because he is the second in command in Konoha and an 8th Hokage candidate, so making an executive decision like this is perfectly allowed given the circumstances. Let me know down in the comment section below, but as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day guys.